Salutations. My name is Neil Jeter, and oh wow, I don't have that much time to speak, so I'm gonna make this book review really quick. I'm not gonna speak fast, but I'm gonna summarize everything that I've written so far. Okay. My name is Neil Jeter, and this is my new channel. My previous video, I explained how I made a change in direction from what I was doing before on YouTube. I've decided to start making controversial content on YouTube and start to make a change in doing book reviews. However, I never explained why I stopped doing doing that type of content. I kind of, I kind of decided it was I didn't really explain it that well, so now I'm going to explain it. Personally, I had to stop making my previous content because it affected how I felt. I became more aggressive, and the more I talked about those issues, the more distressed I became. And I decided, since it's a new year, I might as well just make a change. And since a new day's on the horizon, I made the switch to book reviews, and I couldn't have been happier. And now, let's dive into this. Today I'm going to be just talking about this book that I've reviewed. Actually, this little novella called Anthem by Ayn Rand, and it's a pretty good book. And I have to admit, I haven't read all of the book yet. I've read about 2 chapters in. It's mostly because I really want to extrapolate what's in those chapters and really comprehend and understand what's going on in those chapters and why the events are happening the way they're happening. Sorry, a little bit. And the reason why I'm reviewing this book is because my ex-girlfriend got me this book while we were still dating, and personally I've tried to get around to reading it, yet school always got in the way. And now that I have a lot of free time, I can finally do the review on this book. Now, yeah. And so, for all those who are willing to read this book in the future, I'm just going to warn you, there are going to be spoilers, particularly in the first chapter. Alright, okay, so here's my summary on the first chapter. This chapter introduces our hero, and he is profoundly scared. The reason is because he has committed a sin, a social sin which has no name, and the punish he has no knowledge of. He explains that he has broken several laws of his society, and that the most important thing that he can do is just to write his story while the remainder of the light is left, and whatever that means. But I guess we'll figure it out as we read the story what that actually means. The hero of the novel is a 21-year-old who has the name of Equality 72521, and in this society, no one has the right to choose their own name, and the concepts of parenthood have been extinguished, and the government assigns people their names, and forces everybody to act the same, talk the same, walk the same. You cannot be different in this society. And in this society, he's a troublemaker because he's different. And this is self-evident when he talks about his youth and how he grew up. But I'm not going to get into that right away. He first describes how sinful he is by explaining how he behaved in the home of the infants. And in this home, in this society, it has these homes. These homes are where people are put in. They're put in the home of infants, then in the home of students, and then after the home of students, they are transferred into the job that the council, the World Council, chooses for them. And And let me see. Sorry, and then he speaks about like the thoughts that he has and how his society has a way of treating it, and they have this mantra or hymn that they have to say in order that they believe that can extinguish these thoughts. But with our hero equality, it doesn't extinguish these thoughts, and they're just continually just popping up within his mind, and he hates that. He hates that, and I mean, he doesn't hate that. Sorry, let me rephrase that. He doesn't hate that. He's scared about that. He's scared about that he happens to be different from everyone else. And that throughout his childhood, he got into trouble. In this home of infants, he started a lot of fights with all these other kids. And it doesn't explain why he got into those fights, but I think it's simply because like he didn't like them and because he was different. And in the home of the students, he was able to learn things at a very quick rate compared to all the other people all these other brothers. That's what everyone is called in the society as brothers. He learns at a very quick rate compared to all of his other brothers, and he is punished for that. And so he tries to fit in by copying another one of his brothers, so-called brothers known as Equality, and not Equality, by another brother called Union. And when he does that, he is ended up like whipped by them, by his teachers, and he also has like when he's in the home of the students, he commits another transgression, which is that he has a preference for certain kind of subjects than everyone else, and everyone in that society is supposed to love every subject equally. However, he doesn't. He doesn't enjoy history that much. However, he enjoys science, and science is science is one of his is one of the subjects he most enjoy. He loves learning about things. He loves learning about about all the scientific stuff that the council in this society has discovered over the years, and to us these discoveries don't really seem that advanced, and they seem rather barbaric. And what I mean is that in this home of the students, their science class, it teaches them that the Earth is flat, and that it teaches them that the Earth is flat, and that the name, and he teaches them that winds have names, and how they help men and carry men to safety. And then they tell them like how these barbaric things, that if you cut your hand open, put blood over someone, it can cure them of all their ailments, including like diseases and other travesties. It's more of superstition and not science. However, I mean, it's a dystopia. You can kind of like dismiss that, and you're like, well, I mean, he doesn't really know any better. It's the fault of his society. But that's a very important point, and I'm going to come back to that. And he describes the best inventions that his society has discovered, particularly the council, and particularly the House of Scholars, which he dreams of being a part of, have discovered inventions such as how to make candles from wax and string, and how to make glass that can protect your house from rain. And he enjoys that class. However, whenever he asked questions in those classes, he would end up being punished, because like in that society, questions are discouraged. And he dreams of being part of the House of Scholars, because he's heard that they don't discourage questions. And when the big day comes up, and when in his society the council determines people's jobs for life, he, instead of getting the job that he wants, which is a scholar, he is instead designated a job as a street sweeper and forced to sweep up the streets. And this sets him on a course that will change his life forever. Sorry, he goes through the motions and just does what everybody else does. He does his work, listens to it play like all the other people who are in the home of the street sweepers, and he listens to this play that talks about labor and how working yourself to death is a good thing, and then after that he just goes back to his home and sleeps, and he does that for 4 years, and then he describes how when everybody is 40, they go to live in this place called the home of the useless, in which they stay there until they die, and the government subsidizes them. And when they become 45, they're considered old ones, and all the young children stare at them. And this really reflects how he feels, not only, but he reflects about this because he feels that if he hadn't been so curious, then he would have ended up in a comfortable position. However, that just isn't so. But anyways, he describes a day when he's working. He's sweeping up this theater with his brothers, known as International 48818 and Union 53992, and he enjoys hanging out with International. And this is another social sin, because in his society you're not allowed to love anybody more than anyone else. You're supposed to love everybody equally. However, he doesn't. He prefers talking to International and hanging out with him more than his other brothers in society. And International's also a troublemaker. When he was young, he got chalk, wrote on the walls, and he made people laugh. And we're to suspect that maybe this is why he's sweeping the streets, is because this society is such a buzzkill that it hates anything anyone and anything that goes against the grain. And this is his second transgression of preference. And when he's cleaning the theater, he stumbles upon this iron rod, and then when he pulls it, a hole emerges, and this hole emerges, and he's curious. Him and International both go down there, and they see all of this new material that hasn't been discovered by the council or society yet, and Equality is excited and also filled with joy. However, fear takes over him as he realizes that this is a place that was from the unspeakable times, the times before the Great Rebirth, which are times that people in a society are not allowed to talk about for some reason. But we're gonna figure that out along the way. But anyways, coming back to what I said about those inventions in his society right now. He then keeps this discovery secret with him and International, in fear that if they are caught, if they report it, then they would just be killed anyways. So they decide to use this as a opportunity to learn and to figure out stuff that their society hasn't figured out yet. And they ended up learning more about the world than their council and the home of scholars had to learn in about 10 years. They stole stuff from other houses, and then they do stuff like mix chemicals, dissect animals, and even build ovens. And the main character, although he is scared for his life about what would happen, he also describes himself as never feeling as much joy and excitement and satisfaction in his life. He's more at peace in his life than he ever was, ever. And that's the end of chapter 1 oh shit, I don't have that much time to talk about the second chapter. I wished I had enough time to talk about the second chapter. However, I don't have that much time on my phone. It only has so long I can do a video. But anyways, thanks for watching. I hope you like, comment, and subscribe. And once again, thank you for watching, and have a nice day. My first book review, and hope you enjoyed it.